Welcome to Monday's edition of the Braves Central podcast. Barrett Sallee and Chris Dimino here with you, and we are getting you ready for a very big week against the Cincinnati Reds. Chris, a Reds team that I think a lot of people around here probably don't know a ton about, except maybe Elly De La Cruz. But this is a good Reds team, and one that is a big test for a Braves team that's coming off yes, they won on Sunday, but still a rather disappointing series against the Dodgers.
500 baseball team. There are things about their entire staff that are pretty good. We'll talk about that over the course of the week. If you tune in at 680 The Fans pregame show, 680 Game Day, and then, of course, on the app, you can hear the national show, the one that goes wherever Braves country is, and then certainly the game on top of that. So you can follow on 680 The Fans app. You'll hear a little bit more of a rundown. Brady Singer is going to get the ball tonight. Schwellenbach will get the ball, and we'll go, or A.J. Smith-Shawver, we'll go through that. Schwellenbach will be mentioned coming up in a couple of seconds. I'm going to give you the one that I don't think a lot of people know unless you actually know. And I think you're going to go, oh, yeah, I forgot that. Terry Francona is the manager of the Reds. Like, I'm telling you that you could walk around and you go, oh, you're a baseball fan? Yeah. You know who the manager of the Reds is? And it's not like you're saying some guy who just came off the bench in Miami,
right,
who just got upgraded. It's Terry Francona, who we all thought was going to walk away. He's not. He's in Cincinnati, basically a 500 baseball team. He knows he's going to have to play to the park. He knows his staff's going to have to play to the park. 81 games in Cincinnati, but they're an okay team. They're not exceptional in anything. They're really not. But they've been good enough to be a 500 baseball team 25% of the season in.
Smith-Shawver going tonight. Of course, he was very good against the Rockies his last time out, then obviously got injured, got hit in the hip or hit in the elbow and had to leave. I think one thing that's interesting, and we're going to ask Snit about this today, the last two starts that Smith-Shawver has had, the one before he got sent down in Tampa and the one last week, his fastball usage was way up and his slider usage or split finger usage was way down. It almost feels like he got a little splitter happy early on, and then now they've either talked to him or he's made an adjustment to trust his fastball a little bit more. I wonder if we'll find out today if that is now a trend for him and something that he's made a concerted effort to do.
Well, one of the things you don't want to do is, like I say it all the time, you don't want to go out like a sucker. You don't want to actually keep making the same mistake over and over again. In the back end of the rotation, a mistake that was made around here, and even guys who are supposed to be 3 and up, in the last 5 or 7 years, is you're nibbling your way out of this. You're not really owning what it is you're supposed to own. Now, Schwellenbach becomes a really interesting thing because I have talked about and really have raved about his posture on the mound. He looks like he owns everything. Well, now you're starting to see that doesn't seem to be the case because baseballs, multiples of them, are being hit harder than he had ever seen hit against him in his first 24 starts. So now, for me, we saw Grant Holmes have a bounce-back start. We've seen Bryce Elder, including yesterday. He's had those where you go, okay, he seems to be more in control of the game. For the first time that we've seen Spencer Schwellenbach, he's got to go back and get control of a baseball game. And I know, I raved about it. It's pitch and catch. It's pitch and catch. He doesn't walk around, doesn't mutter, doesn't do anything. He, for the first time this weekend, sort of looked like a guy who had just gotten beaten up, and I don't have an answer right now. 91 pitches in 3 2/3 of an inning. 91 pitches.
91.
So they decided to go against the grain. The Dodgers took pitches, but they also said we're good enough that they had seen things in his 3 starts before that where all of a sudden we're okay. There might not really be a pitcher's count the way there was a pitcher's count when this guy was going at his best.
In that game, when he was removed, 11 of the 12 hardest hit balls were by Dodgers against Spencer Schwellenbach. That's not supposed to happen. And it made me wonder, is he tipping pitches? And I don't know the answer to that. I really don't. But I would imagine that's at least going to be brought up in terms of the sort of the review of that start.
I don't care about hard hit balls. Drake Baldwin, he's hitting the ball so hard, he should really be hitting 310. I don't care. He hit a ball. He smoked the ball. You know what Conforto did? A guy who can't hit, he actually made a great play out in left field. So what you get out of it is nothing. If there's an accumulation of hard hit balls, if a guy goes from, wow, he's getting knocked around really hard and he brings it down, you make notice of it. If a guy has not been suffering from hard hit balls and his numbers, Schwellenbach's numbers have just flown through the roof, there's something there. Now, tipping is obviously the one that you go to, but I also think at a certain point, guys dig in a little bit more. They dig in a little bit harder. You're not as in control as you were. Your pace gets a little bit off, and I think people see sort of the sweat on your brow for the first time. And there's an advantage to a hitter who says he doesn't know what he's doing right now.
Yeah.
If he doesn't know what he's doing, and I do think he's going to be around the strike zone, advantage me.
It was interesting Sunday's game against the Dodgers in the win. We saw Austin Riley, obviously, the 2-homer game, his second this season. But combined between the teams, there was not a single hit with runners in scoring position in that Dodgers game. The Braves got the job done. Obviously, Austin Riley was the biggest reason why. But some issues are still persisting, and this is a Reds team, especially Brady Singer tonight. Brady is, low to mid 90s in terms of his fastball and his sinker. He relies on location quite a bit. He's had a very successful season. So if the Braves are going to get back on the right track, the Dodgers game yesterday doesn't have any importance to me. It's about getting hits with runners in scoring position still, and they have not done that consistently.
You won the game because the Dodgers were 0 for 10. You were 0 for 5. That wasn't over for the game. You weren't lying about that. But they were 0 for 10. And there was this moment with Dylan Lee, and it was why are you letting their manager take the bat out of Conforto's hand, who's 0 for 28? And the pinch hit thing, listen, Miguel Rojas is not supposed to hit home runs.
No.
I don't think he's ever hit a pinch homer in his life. I think he's been in the league 15 years. But he did do it at the time. I got Pierce Johnson, who pitched well, gave up a run, but it was okay. It was only one. Then I got Daysbel Hernandez, who still has more wins than anybody on the staff at 3. The 2 most important at-bats were Teoscar Hernandez, who was ridiculously pissed off at himself because he's the best, literally came in as the best in baseball with runners in scoring position. Pierce Johnson gets him. Then the ground ball hit by Mookie Betts was the other one that Hernandez gets out of because you got him to induce into a ground ball. And we were talking about it with Iglesias. There's a moment in a baseball game where here's how good Ohtani is. And it's not that he's the best player in baseball. He's not the best offensive player in baseball. He might not really be in the top 8 or 10. But I started to play the game, when is he up?
Yep.
I started to go,
when does he walk to that on-deck circle?
What has to happen where I might actually have to face this guy for a 5th time today? And it did not happen because Raciel Iglesias, who closed out that game and acted like he was a gladiator. I've never seen a guy celebrate. I mean, it was funny. He wasn't running around and taking his clothes off, but he stood there. His teammates gave him a moment, if you noticed.
Oh, yeah.
He turned to center field. He threw his arms up, and it was like, nobody bother me. I'm having a moment here. And I think his teammates respected the moment that he had.
This series against the Reds, again, like you mentioned, a 500 ball club playing well. The Braves obviously have their issues. A split is, to me, is fine. It's not ideal, but if they work out a split in this series, considering there is an issue with Spencer Schwellenbach. Grant Holmes has been good, but we don't really know if that's sustainable. To me, if they leave here and go on the road, winners of 3 of their last 5, including the Dodgers game, that's fine with me.
Yeah, they don't, like I said, I'm just looking at some of the numbers. They don't give up a lot of base hits. The ERA is certainly respectable at 3.65. This is as an entirety. This isn't just the starting pitching. These are team pitching stats. But what they do is they have a pretty low whip, which means they don't give up a lot of walks. They don't give up a ton of singles. They're going to be played by the home run like everybody else. But their damage is not necessarily a lot of guys on the base pass. For me, you got to be better with runners in scoring position. How many opportunities do you create over the next 4 nights with runners in scoring position? 0 for 5. I can live in an 0 for 5 world because if they were 2 for 10, I lose. 0 for 5 bothers me more.
Right.
When the other guy's 0 for 10, I can live in a world of 0 for 5 as long as I get the win.
Well, that'll do it for Braves Central. He's Chris Dimino. I'm Barrett Sallee. 4 games with the Reds. Of course, you can hear all 4 of them right here on the 680 The Fan app, all across Braves country. We know it's been a little bit of an issue to watch games. Chris, during the wrap-up show, the only call we got, because we were trying to get out of there quickly because Saturday night was a problem. Yeah. Hey, how do I watch Braves games? You don't. You listen on the 680 The Fan app.
Oh, I see what you did. You're a company man now all of a sudden.
All of a sudden.
No,
they pay my mortgage.
Yeah, you can find Braves games, but if you don't want to look too hard, listen, I would just say download the 680 app. I don't want to get into it, but I actually had no. I spent 2 innings with a young man last night that we took some calls on the rain delay show the other day. We had 3 visually impaired people, and I've heard from people. The radio is a godsend. I was sitting with a young boy, 7 years old, at the Braves game last night, and you really do forget for a second what communication, what an audio version, because we've all gotten used to, I could see it, therefore you don't have to tell me. Well, for those who can, or those who just like listening to a radio game, it really is still incredible what you can get out of good announcers on a baseball game.
And Ben and Joe are the best, and you're right. there's something wholesome about it. And here at 680 The Fan, we do a great job, not just locally, but around Braves country and around the world as well. He's Chris, I'm Barrett. Let's get at least 2 out of 4 from the Reds, but if the Braves want to do a little better than that, it's okay here.